What if I told you could build your own AI agent even if you barely know how to code? If I had to start learning AI agents all over again in 2026, here is exactly how I would do it. Because when I first got into this space, I made every single beginner mistake in the book. I chased buzzwords. I made overcomplicated solutions. I watched endless videos without having actually built anything. So this video serves as a guide for what I wish I had when I first started learning. In this video, you're gonna learn exactly what an AI agent is in the most simple terms. You'll find out really the only 3 skills you need to actually start building AI agents. And most importantly, I'll give you a step-by-step plan that you can get started with today that will teach you exactly what you need without getting overwhelmed with research papers or math. Because let's be honest, the AI space right now is moving super fast. You've got LangChain, Crew AI, Auto GPT agents, vector databases, RAG. It's nearly impossible for a beginner to keep up. But here's the truth, you don't need to learn everything. You just need to learn the right things in the right order. No academic papers, no theory, no math, just the bare foundations of what you need to execute and build AI agents. Whether you're a complete beginner or you've dabbled before but haven't really found the confidence yet, this video is for you. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear action plan, a list of tools and resources you can use, and a sense of direction. And most importantly, you will actually be able to build your first AI agent project that you can show off, improve, and be proud of. So if you're ready to finally understand how you can get started with AI agents without wasting months and months on fluff, you're in the right place. Let's dive into how I would learn AI agents if I had to start completely over from scratch. Okay, before we talk about how to learn AI agents, we need to answer the most basic question first. What is an AI agent? Forget all the jargon, here's the most simple definition. An AI agent is a program that can decide what to do next on its own based on goals that you give it. So it doesn't just spit out text like ChatGPT, it's able to take actions to solve problems, and it does so using tools and environments. Think about it like this, if ChatGPT is a smart brain that can respond to you, an AI agent is that same brain, but with arms and legs and a body that it can use to do actions. It uses tools to browse the web, run code, send emails, and even schedule meetings. All you have to do is give it a goal and it figures out the steps it needs to get it done. And that's what an AI agent is. That's what agency means. And here's what makes AI agents so exciting. They're able to combine action with reasoning and memory. That means they could loop through their tasks, plan ahead, reflect on what they've done, and adapt themselves for the next move. It's like having a personal assistant that gets smarter with every task. Here's a real life example. Let's say you have an AI agent that could read your emails. Instead of just summarizing them, it could reply, it can check your calendar, it could draft meeting invites, all without you ever lifting a finger. That's autonomy. That's what AI agents are good for. Another way to think about it is like AI is more like a calculator. You press a button and it gets you an answer. But an AI agent is more like an intern. You give it a job and they go and figure it out step by step. Sometimes they need feedback, sometimes they make mistakes, but overall, they learn throughout the whole process. We're seeing this in startups too. Imagine a customer support agent that not only answers questions, but also checks orders, escalates issues, and follows up automatically. Or an agent that manages your crypto portfolio by analyzing trends and placing trades. The possibilities are endless. Now here's the key thing, you don't need a PhD to build an AI agent. In fact, most modern agents are built using simple Python scripts, APIs, and a large language model like ChatGPT. And you can build your first one way sooner than you think. If you're serious about building AI agents, here's the good news. You really only need 3 core skills to get started. Let's break them down one by one. Skill number 1 is basic Python programming. You don't need to be a coding wizard. In fact, a lot of this work can be done using AI, but you do need to understand the basics, like variables, functions, loops, conditionals, and you need to learn how to use libraries. But that's it. Most agents are just Python scripts using APIs and tools. So if you can build a simple to-do app in Python, you can build your first agent. And here's how I'd learn these basics if I were starting now. The first thing I would do is like an hour-long crash course on Free Code Camp or Coursera or some other website. But don't spend more than an hour or 2 on this step. You want to start building immediately. Then I would go immediately into building my own chatbot. Just a simple Python script that uses ChatGPT or some other LLM and wraps it in a user interface that just resembles what ChatGPT looks like right now. From there, I would learn how external libraries and how tools works that you can start integrating them into your ChatGPT. Don't worry if the code isn't perfect, if you're using AI, whatever. AI agents don't require elegant code. They just need working code. So focus on the progress instead of perfection. Skill number 2 is understanding LLMs and APIs. Large language models, or LLMs, are essentially the brain of agents. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, these models not only generate text and images, but more importantly, they're able to reason and follow instructions. And the way you interact with them is through SDKs or APIs. Basically, you send a request and it gives you a response back. Here's what I would focus on. First, learn prompt and context engineering. Prompt engineering teaches you how to write clear, structured prompts to get useful results. And context engineering helps you understand what inputs and what information need to be supplied in the prompt in order to get the best results. And then you can learn about functions and tool calling. This determines what an agent can actually do and how it's able to take actions based on decision it makes. And the key here is that you don't actually need to build your own LLM. You just need to know how to use one very effectively. That's like 90% of where the power comes from. Skill number 3 is reasoning and autonomy loops. And this is the key idea that makes an agent different from a chatbot. Agents need to think about goals, plans, steps, and be able to loop through actions. Like, try this, check this result, just decide the next step, and be able to repeat this over and over again. You'll learn about chains, or chain of thought, which is a sequence of prompts where the output of one becomes the input of the next. Then you explore planning frameworks like React, which mixes reasoning and acting into one prompt. And then finally, you use memory, which allows the model to store its past steps so it doesn't forget what it did like 10 seconds ago. It sounds complex, but there are a lot of great libraries like LangChain and CrewAI that handle a lot of it for you. You just need to understand the pieces and how to set them up. And then a bonus tip is to build your own mini agents to help you with your tasks. Creating a content summarizer or a social media assistant, you'll learn much faster by just solving your own problems. You don't need machine learning, you don't need math, you don't even need to know how ChatGPT works internally. With just basic Python and API knowledge, as well as a grasp on autonomy and reasoning, you can build modern AI agents right now. So now I'll show you the exact plan I would follow step by step if I had to learn AI agents from scratch in 2026. All right, this is the heart of the video. If I had to start learning AI agents from zero in 2026, here's the exact step-by-step roadmap I'd follow. It's simple, focused, and actually doable. Phase 1, learn Python basics fast. Spend a few days doing a crash course like Free Code Camp or automate the boring stuff, and then immediately move into small projects. Make a calculator app or make a number guessing game. Skip the perfection, just aim for just progress. Integrate external libraries and get familiar with using those as well. Build a chatbot using OpenAI. Build a web scraper using Selenium. The whole idea is that you just want to get really comfortable working with Python. And then also you'll learn how to use an IDE and a code editor. VS Code is obviously a great choice. If you have Cursor, use Cursor. Get used to debugging, reading error messages, Googling things. Python has a lot of type errors. That's normal. There's usually a reason for it. If you could write a function, use loops, and handle lists and dictionaries, you're ready to move on. Phase 2 is going to involve playing with LLMs using the APIs. For this, you're going to go over to OpenAI or Hugging Face or some other repository of models and use these models to see what they can actually do. Then you want to go to Claude or ChatGPT and sign up for an account to get an API key so you can start sending requests through Python. From there, you just start using the OpenAI API. Add some prompt engineering tricks like structure instructions, role assignments, examples in a prompt, play with the temperature and the max tokens. Also explore different models. Try Claude, try Gemini to compare how different models handle different tasks. Get super curious about how the small tweaks in the wording of the system prompts can drastically change the results. Once you get the hang of sending prompts and reading outputs, try calling tools to like run code or search the web or summarize a document. At this moment, you'll kind of see exactly how powerful even a simple prompt can be to an AI agent when given the right tools. Phase 3 involves building out mini AI agents that can handle small tasks. Start turning your LLMs into just basic agents and giving them tasks. Think super useful, but also super small. Here are some ideas. A resume builder that asks questions and formats answers, an email responder that can draft replies based on the tone of the message, or you can do like a task planner that breaks down a goal into different steps and then outlines them for you. The important thing is that right now you're not building for other people, you're just building for you. Solve your own pain points, automate something that annoys you. Then you can start expanding these agents by wrapping them into functions or letting your scripts be read from a file or taking in inputs, or even creating a basic web interface that somebody can interact with the agent. At this point, you're no longer just prompting, you're actually building systems, like you're actually building AI systems that work and automate themselves. Phase 4 involves learning and incorporating planning, memory, and tools. First, you want to learn about planning strategies like React, Tree of Thought, or any auto GPT style loops. These are essentially the frameworks that dictate how a model may take in a goal or input and break it down into individual tasks. Some common vector databases you can use are either Pinecone or ChromaDB. From there, you can incorporate tool use, which lets your agent browse the web, read code, query a database, whatever it needs to do to get a task done. With this, you can use frameworks like LangChain, Llama Index, or Crew AI. Now, these libraries can be overwhelming at first, but start slow. Just start with basic loops and chains and then incorporate memory and tools. Don't get discouraged by long docs or big architectures. Focus on use cases. Like, how do I make my agent Google something? How do I make it Google something and then summarize it? For example, you can build a simple agent that can Google a question, summarize the answer, read a PDF, and then answer questions from it, or take in user input and then complete some multi-step task based on that input. Also try agents with roles, where each agent gets their own piece of the process. One prompt can be dedicated to a planner, another one can be a doer. Even if it sounds complicated, it helps structure the actual process. And phase 5 would be to join a community or some online challenge. Now, this is ongoing. You should be doing this from the very start, but this is where you really level up. You can join Discords like the AI engineering community, build in public on X, or join an open source agent project. Also, try replicating agents that you see on GitHub or online. And honestly, the easiest way to learn, especially when contributing with open source agent projects, is to read the issues and analyze the code. Write documentation around what's actually happening. That's the easiest way to learn. You'll learn 10 times faster than just being in your own code base. And then also take on mini challenges, right? Like build an AI agent that books appointments via email, build one that summarizes meetings and suggests action items, build one that handles your calendar and sends daily updates. Your learning will significantly accelerate when you have goals, deadlines, and people around you that are also learning same thing. Here's the quick starter template for your first real AI agent. Let's say you want to build your first actual agent. Here's a mini roadmap. First, you're going to create a Python script with a command line interface. Then you want to incorporate and use OpenAI APIs to take in the prompt and then respond. From there, you want to add a function for memory. You can use a vector to store a vector database, or you can just use a basic text file. Then you want to connect the tool like search or file reading, and then loop it all together using a prompt, decide, act, and repeat framework. Even if it's basic, this is a real AI agent. It may not be perfect, but it works, and that's the most important thing. So my final advice is to start small, build and finish projects, and then share everything that you learn. AI is moving fast, but when you have clarity around the basics and the foundations of everything that goes into it, you can keep up a lot easier. And the most important thing is don't try to learn everything. Just learn exactly what you need in order to get building. The roadmap is pretty simple, and it's much better to build a very simple AI agent from start to finish than it is to try to take on something as complicated as like building the next Jarvis. Start small, keep it lean, keep it scrappy, and then from there you can iterate and expand and add in more tools and functionality. Now I'm going to show you the biggest beginner traps to avoid when building AI agents so you don't waste time like I did. Let me save you from some mistakes I made when I first got into AI agents, because trust me, you can literally waste weeks, and some of these are super easy traps to fall into. Mistake number 1 is drowning in theory. This one's a huge one. A lot of beginners think they need to understand everything before starting, so they spend weeks reading papers and watching lectures and trying to understand neural networks and RAG and all these different complicated strategies and innovations and trying to stay up to date with everything. You don't need that. Like, you're not training models. You're mostly just using them. Get hands-on experience first. Learn by building. The theory will start to make sense later as you begin to experiment with it, but just start building first. The real confidence in everything that you do just comes from doing it. Even if you don't fully understand how the model works under the hood or how it behaves, you'll quickly understand what it can and can't do and how well it can do those things early on if you just start building. Mistake number 2 is over-engineering projects. For the most basic use cases, you probably don't need LangChain, you probably don't need vector stores, you probably don't need RAG, you probably don't need multi-agent systems or voice interface. Like, you don't need any of that for your first project. For your first project, just make a Python script that uses ChatGPT, takes in user input, and does something useful with the tools that you give it. And that's way more than enough for basic tasks. The goal is not to build some impressive thing that is stitched together and barely works, right? It's to learn. These large fancy projects don't teach you more at the very beginning. In fact, they probably teach you less. They probably teach you less because you spend more time debugging than actually learning the core concepts of what's happening. So a better idea would be to build the simplest possible version of the idea first, then make it slightly better, then make it slightly better, and then continue making it better. The complexity of the project or the AI agent comes from the growth. You begin to expand it and you begin to make it more useful and cover more use cases, not from the very beginning trying to build Jarvis or trying to build a full agent that does everything. Mistake number 3 is obviously getting stuck just watching a bunch of tutorials. Tutorials are great until they're not. Like, at some point you have to just stop watching and just start creating. The best learning happens when you solve your own problems and you hit bugs and you have errors and you debug. You encounter things that you don't understand, and that's where the learning happens. There's a principle that engineers use all the time. It's called just-in-time learning, where as an engineer, you learn just the minimum amount of information needed in order to complete the task that you're currently working on. And that's the mindset that you should adapt. So after each tutorial, build something original. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, it doesn't matter if it's, it could be ugly, whatever. Like, just make it yours, make it run. It doesn't have to be perfect, just make it work. And remember, the real gold, like the real gold nuggets of learning and information happens from struggling. So running into real world debugging or real world errors and then learning from them is the best way to really grow. And then the fourth mistake is comparing yourself to experts. You're gonna see people online building crazy things, right? Fully autonomous agents, social media managers, full video ad autonomous agents that run your Facebook ad campaigns. But don't let that intimidate you, right? Like, most of these people have been at it for years. Like, most of these people have been using ChatGPT since when it first came out. You just need to focus on your lane, get one agent working, and then just keep building from there. That's it. If you compare your first step to someone's 100th step, you'll always feel behind. So instead of doing that, just compare yourself to where you were last week. Compare yourself to where you were yesterday. Compare yourself to where you were 3 days ago. If you avoid these 4 mistakes, you'll move a lot faster. All right, if you've made it this far, here's the most important thing I want you to know. You can learn this. Even if you've never coded before, even if AI seems overwhelming, you can learn and build your first AI agent, and sooner than you think. AI agents aren't reserved for PhDs or Silicon Valley engineers. The tools are completely open. The knowledge is free. If you take it step by step, you'll be surprised how fast you can actually pick it up. So here's your move today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Write your first Python script. Call your first API request. Build your first AI chatbot in Python. That's how it starts. That's how it begins. Don't aim for perfection. Just aim for momentum. Aim for progress. Aim for constantly building and constantly getting better and constantly improving on existing systems. Build. Share it online. Join a community. You'll learn much faster than being in isolation. And if you feel stuck, that's expected. Every builder, every engineer always feels stuck, but they're the ones that keep going and they're the ones that stop. Be the one that keeps going. The future of work and the future of building is going to revolve around people that know how to use and build with AI. And it's still super, super early. Like, if you're watching this video, you're still super early. If you follow this roadmap, stay curious and just keep building, you're gonna look back and laugh 6 months from now on how far you've come. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, leave a comment, and hit subscribe. I'll be dropping a ton of AI content to help you build smarter and faster, whether that's AI apps, AI automation, AI workflows, AI systems, it doesn't matter. The future of AI agents is waiting. See you in the next one.